Hello there. I'm tough guy film expert Mike Malloy, and I want to present a new documentary outtake to you today. See, in my film EUROCRIME, the Italian cop and gangster films that ruled the 70s, I did address the Red Scare that occurred in America in the 1950s and the connected blacklist that occurred in Hollywood in the 50s, and the strange relationship that the blacklist ended up having with the EUROCRIME genre. But naturally, I couldn't include everything on the subject that I wanted. For instance, I had a great anecdote from my 2007 interview with actor John Saxon. John Saxon, who actually sadly died about 2 months before the recording of this video here in 2020, but had a great interview from Saxon about starring in an Italian crime film, Cross Shot. Now, Saxon was the lead of Cross Shot, a rarity in his EUROCRIME career, and in the supporting cast was legendary Hollywood character actor Lee J Cobb, who was in everything from On the Waterfront to The Exorcist. Anyway, when I interviewed Saxon for EUROCRIME, he had a great story about Lee J Cobb and the blacklist that didn't really work with the documentary's pacing, but that story of his suddenly came to mind the other day when I saw something on social media from my fellow tough guy film historian Paul Talbot, author of the Bronson's Loose series of books. Paul posted on Facebook an old newspaper ad he found. It was an ad for John Saxon appearing in a stage version of Man of La Mancha, and that probably is, the very same stage play that Saxon referenced in this anecdote I had to trim out of EUROCRIME. Now, what does 70s musical theater and the blacklist and Lee J Cobb all have to do with each other? Well, I'm going to let our dear departed John Saxon tell you all about it. Now, you mentioned Barry Sullivan, Lee J Cobb.
Yeah. I got to find it.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I got a funny story about that. That was in the city of Bari we were shooting that. I remember arriving and going to a hotel. And at the time, I was preparing to do some musicals in summer stock. So I took vocalizing discs with me, you know, and even some Italian songs that I would, I was awake and I started singing, you know, what O Solo Mio, something like that, you know, and I kept doing it and doing it. Finally, there was a rap on the door. It was dark, it was late afternoon, there's a rap on the door. And I opened the door, and there's a guy in the darkness talking English to somebody. He says, "Tell him to shut up, will you? Tell him to shut up, that goddamn noise and he's making," and so on and so forth. And I looked into it, and it was Lee J. I said, "Lee J Cobb?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm John Saxon." "Oh!" And he came into the room, and we sat down. And I don't know how we got on the subject, but we got on the subject of the blacklist, you know, the whole thing that was going on in Hollywood during the time that he was in, you know, the committee that were bringing actors and people were losing their livelihood to perform because they were blacklisted and so on. So he sat and he told me all about it for about an hour. I wished I had recorded that when he did it, you know. And then we had a few scenes together, and I must say I was the main person in the scene, and I felt I had to force myself to sort of be that because I was playing with him. I didn't want to say, okay, I'm gonna let you take the scene because, I mean, after all, you know, so. And I think he expected that I might, but I didn't do that.